To the second leg of our virtual tour of Pompeii. In this tour, we'll focus on the entertainment that was available on Pompeii, with a primary focus on the gladiator games available at the Pompeian Amphitheater. So you'll see we're about 1,500 meters above Pompeii. And let me do a quick outline of the city again. So here is the marine gate that we entered in last week. Here is the perimeter of the city. So like many towns, Pompeii had various entertainment activities to entertain the Roman population. Pompeii had a theater, two actual theaters in town, but it also had an amphitheater where residents could view gladiator matches, or they could watch gladiators hunt wild animals. So today we kind of think of these type of things as being barbaric, but you got to kind of try to think of back 2,000 years ago, this would have been the equivalent of a boxing match or a football game. So before we get to the blood and guts part of the tour, I want to point out some of the other entertainment available in Pompeii. So you're going to see here's the Marine Gate where we went through last weekend. And right here is the Forum for Pompeii. Now, if we scroll in a little bit, you're going to see right past the Forum, you're going to see the Roman baths. Pompeii had 3 bath complexes, and basically part of Roman culture was socializing and relaxing and cleaning yourself at a public bath. So they had saunas, they had cold baths, hot baths. Basically, it was a place where you would socialize, relax, and try to take a bath. But one more thing I want to show you is right across the street is a fast food restaurant from this bath. So if we actually go into Street View in this restaurant, you will see it's a fast food takeout restaurant. If you scroll around, you will see here is the front part of the restaurant where you're walking down the street. You could walk right in here and get food. And these little holes here would have held basically clay bowls that would have fit in here, and they would have had hot food and cold food. And basically, it was kind of like a Chipotle. You went up, you pointed to what you wanted, they'd fill up a bowl for you, and you could walk out in the street and eat it on the street, or you could eat it in here. But again, this is like basically the Pompeian equivalent of fast food. You'll see their amphora. They probably would have had olive oil or wine in these amphora. You see one over there as well. And some more areas to pick up food. And again, this is the equivalent of fast food Roman style. So let's now head to the blood and guts part of the tour. Let me reorient to the map here. Oh, one more thing I want to point out before we get to the blood and guts part of the tour. Right down from the Marine Gate, this is where we came into Pompeii. Right down the street, you will see 2 large theaters. Pompeii had 2 theaters. The large theater and then a smaller one. So the large theater would have been for live theatrical performances, and then the smaller theater would have been for like music performances. These were built at personal private expense, so these were not built by the town. Basically, 2 wealthy vineyard owners built these theaters out of their personal funds. So now let's really head to the blood and guts part of the tour, and you're going to see down from the theater is the amphitheater. Now, the term amphitheater is literally defined as a space for the spectators that runs all around the arena. So basically, much like a modern football stadium, you'll see that there's seating all the way around. And basically, our modern football stadium is built upon the idea of a Roman amphitheater. So if we look at the Mercedes-Benz Stadium, which is where the 2019 Super Bowl was held, you'll see it looks very much like a Roman amphitheater. So this amphitheater is the oldest surviving Roman amphitheater in the entire world. It can seat around 20,000 people, so pretty much the entire population of the town could go here. And it is used primarily for gladiator matches or wild animal hunts. So as we explore the amphitheater, try to imagine basically humans fighting to the death or until at least submission. Now, one thing to take note is the amphitheater is built on the edge of town. And the main reason for that is right here is a gate, so it allowed easy access for people who didn't live in Pompeii to get to the amphitheater. Or if they needed to leave after the show was over, they could easily escape without having to go all the way through town to get out of the town. So let's do a little exploring here and take a quick look on Street View. So you'll see one of the main entrances. There's two main entrances for this amphitheater. And you'll see there's one here, and then you can't really see it from here, but on the other side around this curve, you can see the stairwell right there. There's another entrance right there, and you see the part of the stair right there. So this entrance looks pretty much like the same as this one. You'll see there's a stairwell going up to the main basically platform here, and this one around the entire perimeter, and there's entrances along, much like a modern football field or baseball field. You would see the same type of layout. Now, it's actually before we move on, one thing I want to mention is that we've never found any bathrooms or outhouses or cesspits. So a cesspit is basically where you go to the bathroom. Usually Romans would dig a hole and they'd put like some type of like bathroom seat above the hole, and much like an outhouse you'd see in Maine, you'd go to the bathroom. So we've never found any outhouses or cesspits in the amphitheater. So we have no idea how the 20,000 people actually went to the bathroom when they came here. We don't know if they came out here and peed on the street, or the other theory is across the street is what they call the Palaestra, and this is basically kind of like a Roman gymnasium. The gladiators would work out here, and also average Roman citizens would come here and work out as well. And there are cesspits in here, so we think they might have gone across the street and gone to the bathroom over here. You'll see it's pretty wide here. So just imagine, like if you go to Fenway, you always see hawkers and vendors out on the street. So as you're coming into the gladiator match, imagine street vendors out here selling their food or selling their goods. Let's actually go into the actual amphitheater. Take a look here. They did have a rock concert in here, and let me see if I can find that rock concert. It's kind of cool. Okay, I tried to find the rock concert they had in here, and I can't find it. So we're going to skip that part. So we're inside the amphitheater, and the first thing to take note of is you'll see in the first 4 rows, there's kind of like a retaining wall that's in the back. That was to basically divide the wealthy Pompeii citizens and government officials from the average Pompeian who lived in Pompeii. So basically, you look along the whole perimeter, you'll see there's that retaining wall, or that dividing wall. That basically just separated the wealthy from the poorer citizens of the town. Now, as you look around, you're going to see that there's little entrances along the top. So basically, when you went up the stairs, you walk around to your zone, then come in and kind of find your seat. And you'll see the wealthier people in their area, they also have little entrances as well. Now, the gladiators would have come through this main entrance here, and there's 2 of them. So like opposing football teams, they would have gone through their respective entrance. So the local gladiators from Pompeii would go through one entrance. Then if they came from a different town, the gladiators would come through the other entrance if they were an opposing town. Now, one thing to take note is you'll see most of the seats are made of stone, but near the top you'll see it's all grass. And basically, what was up here was wooden seats. And what happened is during the eruption, all of the wooden seating was destroyed. So if you imagine going into like a high school gymnasium where they have pull-out wooden bleachers, it would have been the same thing. They would have been wooden bleacher type seats that were here along the perimeter. And again, anything that's grass probably would have been wooden seats. And they also had the ability to put awning up. So you'll see these little nodules here at the top. They could have put long poles up here, and they basically would have been able to put awning that would have provided shade for all the people who were in the stadiums. That's pretty cool as well. So this amphitheater was also the site of a bloody riot. So according to ancient historical sources, there was a gladiator fight between the town of Nuceria and Pompeii. And Nuceria is a town that's about probably 10 miles from Pompeii. So there was a gladiator match between Nucerian gladiators and Pompeian gladiators. And basically, the Nucerian fans picked a fight with the Pompeian fans, and they got into a brawl. And basically, it became so bad that the brawl spilled out into the street, and people were killing each other on the street. So gladiators were stabbing people. Spectators were fighting with each other. It's pretty crazy. So for a while, all we had was this historical document that stated that this happened. And the riot was so bad that the Emperor of Rome basically banned all gladiator fights from Pompeii for 10 years. But eventually, as they started excavating the different homes in Pompeii, they found something pretty cool. They found a mural or fresco commemorating the actual riot at the amphitheater. You'll see it looks just like the one that we've been looking at. You'll see here the main entrance. And then you'll see people are fighting in the street. This guy looks like he's ready to stab this guy. You'll see people are fighting in the main area. There are people fighting in the stands, people fighting all over the place. Here's the palestra, or the kind of exercise area across from the arena. And then you'll see there are people here in a tree line. Looks like they're selling their things, people selling something there, and people fighting all over the place. So if we try to compare this mural to actual amphitheater, you can see it lines up quite well. So I take a leave here. And we'll go into 3D view here. And as we zoom around, one thing I want you to take, I'm going to take notice of as I'll pause this here. If you look at the back of this mural, you'll see there are two towers. And if we look over here, you'll see there are those two towers. And also, if we look, you'll see there's kind of like an awning going across. And if we look at the actual Google Earth here, you will see along the perimeter there are these little nodules, and that's where they would have put the awning, which is pretty cool as well. And if we zoom out a little bit and get back and move around here, pause it right there, and you'll see right here is one of the entrances. And if we go to Street View, we can actually see the tree line, and we can see one of the buildings that was there. So we go down to Street View here. So you'll see the entrance here, and it looks just like the one that's in the mural. But the cool thing is this building right here. If we look over to the left, you can see the foundation for that building. You'll see there's a tree line here and a tree line there. So just imagine the gladiators and the spectators coming out of the amphitheater. They're brawling in the street. They're stabbing each other with swords. They're punching each other in the face. That was all happening through here. So that's a pretty cool thing that happened at this amphitheater that we really didn't know if it really happened or not. We just had a historical source, but now we have actual confirmation that that event occurred. So this is the end of this part of the entertainment tour. As you can see, Pompeii had a lot to offer its citizens, from fast food, baths, theater, and bloody gladiator fights. So come back next week for the next part of the tour. Take care.